Hey YouTube, I wanted to quickly discuss this Zenless Zone Zero article done by IGN, and this channel started with Zenless Zone Zero, and I intend to cover the game until it's released. So I wanted to go over kind of like the TLDR, the biggest points that we've learned from. Honestly, this article is not really that long, but just to kind of go over its biggest points. So first off, they kind of talk about generative AI a little bit. They've tried using it for programming, technical aspects, but as far as art goes, it's hands off for them, which is great. We love to hear it. We kind of have like how the team started, the history, how young the developers are, and how big it's grown. Obviously, they have some veterans on there, but the big thing is that the ZZZ team is a team that consists of pretty young developers. One thing I did find interesting was that the ZZZ team only works on their project rather than swapping between other Hoyoverse properties, and that collaboration between the games teams is quite rare. I feel like this is very interesting. I mean, it says like right after they do it for technical aspects, but like as far as like story goes, or like the dramatic elements of the game, like story, characters, world building, all that sort of stuff, system, gameplay design, they don't really interact with everybody else, it seems, which I think is an interesting route to take. They talk about the inspirations here. They talked about how his childhood inspiration for the time system was Digimon. I never played Digimon, but I'm sure it's great. Also Street Fighter 6, drawing inspiration for like the very punchy and fleshy feeling you get, so the combat satisfying. I think having that sort of impact when you're attacking an enemy is really important. I think Wuthering Waves does this really well with its sound design, and hopefully these guys can pull it through as well for that. The next thing I wanted to bring up was the tutorials. They mentioned how they don't want it to feel overwhelming. I know from experience that teaching players how to do things in an efficient manner is very difficult, so good luck to them on that. But moving on from that, we see that Zenless Zone Zero is actually coming to Nintendo Switch and Xbox. Now, they do talk about one other thing in this article later on, which is, I'm sure a lot of people will be talking about, very important, but I feel like the fact that it's coming to Switch and Xbox is probably the biggest thing from here. Now, the player base, or the potential player base, is so much larger than it was before because of just how many people own a Nintendo Switch, you know? And Xbox, I mean, a lot of people have Xboxes. That's just, that's just more players to your game. But, I mean, first off, Genshin Impact never came to Switch. I'm sure if it did, the game would be even bigger than it is today. But, that little potato console couldn't handle it. But we have Zenless Zone Zero, and I think it's gonna be very interesting to see the player numbers and just how many people are engaged, because they have such a wide audience with, going multi-platform. I mean, we've seen its benefits. For example, the Persona series going multi-platform, it's great. The fans of the games actually get to play the games for once. So I think this is the biggest thing out of this article so far. Or not so far, at least like this entire thing. But they also talk about the storyline. I mentioned this in my very first video. They've got like a basic outline. They can weave it with different things. They can leave stuff out. The setup is very like comfy for them, so they don't have to really commit to anything so major right now, and they can do what they want with it. And next, at the very, very bottom, he outlines one thing in particular I wanted to share is the multiplayer battle mode is already under development. So I can see this, I don't know, maybe this thing comes in like 1.2 or something. I have no idea, I'm just guessing, but I know more multiplayer feature is something that would be very beneficial for a game like this, because co-op in like an action game is always fun, and that's just something I want to see from the game. Like multi-plethora of like permanent modes, kind of like Honkai Star Rail does, I think is something that will be great for this game and will be something that people want to see. It'll be interesting how they keep it, fresh and interesting. you know, maybe they have different sort of one-off gameplay mechanics implemented in them. I don't know how they're going to do it. We literally gave us no details aside from the fact it's already in development, but we can speculate all we want. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to go over this quick little article. Biggest points that we've learned from this are the new multiplayer battle mode, new platforms, and the inspiration on the game, kind of where you can see how, like, where they're pulling from. I think, yeah. But thanks for watching. I've got a Wuthering Waves video on the way. We'll be covering more Zenless Zone Zero stuff. So if you're here for that, subscribe, like, stay tuned. Peace.